So applications for the 2023 NSFAS funding have opened today, or will be open today, I should say. New initiatives have been set up to improve the efficiency of the application system. This includes more user-friendly application modes, such as social media platforms, among others. So let's get you more details about what this entails. Bring in Higher Education Minister Dr. Blade Nzimande, who joins us via our video link this morning. Minister, it's great to see you. Thank you so much indeed for speaking to us on this Wednesday morning. We'll speak about these improvements in just a moment, but I imagine top of mind for many people who've been keeping up with the news cycle will be that proclamation last month from President Cyril Ramaphosa giving the SIU the go-ahead to investigate corruption allegations at NSFAS. To what extent would that have bearing on funding next year?
Good morning, Ayanda, to you, your viewers and your listeners as well. Thank you very much for inviting me. Well, I just want to make it absolutely clear, Ayanda, that we actually requested the President to appoint the SIU. And this is an old matter. This is a matter that was raised by the previous administrator of NSFAS around 2016, 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Well, around 2018, but on matters that had happened from 2016 to 2017 mainly, which was about defrauding the NSFAS scheme by people who actually do not qualify. And a number of other things that were actually of concern to the administrator at the time. So we welcome this investigation by the SIU, and NSFAS management yesterday also welcomed this investigation. They have already started engaging with the SIU on the terms as well as the process that will take place for the investigation. We still have lots of challenges on this score. But I want to assure you and the viewers and the listeners that this will not by any means affect the applications for next year. That's why today we have confidently opened applications. And also, I do need to point out that as I'm talking to you now, NSFAS is currently funding 708,147 students in our universities and in our TVET colleges. So I'm very confident. NSFAS actually is very stable. I know some people are claiming that there is chaos, there is corruption at NSFAS. Yes, there may be corruption as we had reported it, and the SIU is going to go into that. And as I said, it's an old matter. But at this point in time, we are very proud of what NSFAS is doing, that it is continuing actually to fund the children of the working class and the poor of our country, many of whom would not have seen a college or a university door.
Yeah. When we speak about challenges, that can sometimes be seen as a very broad statement. And as you rightly put it, there are a myriad of issues at NSFAS, from old IT systems, we're told, the transition from loans to bursary systems, a non-alignment of some legislative frameworks within NSFAS. As far as you're concerned, where should the SIU be placing its priority in a context where this corruption and malfeasance may very well continue until this investigation is finally wrapped up?
Well, look, those details are details that I would invite you to actually follow up with the NSFAS management. As I have said to you, they are the ones who are actually discussing the nitty-gritties. For me, the main important thing is actually to track and identify those people who are defrauding NSFAS. Blade Nzimande, who is a minister, but his kids are getting NSFAS. Those are the kinds of people who must be named, who do not deserve to be getting NSFAS, but they are actually somehow, some of them use the fact as if the parents are SASSA beneficiaries, when in fact their parents are professionals who are well earning. That for me is the most important thing. Also sometimes as NSFAS interacts with institutions all the time, is the reliability of the information that gets given to NSFAS from institutions. That's another area that actually needs to be investigated. And it's a very specific challenge, by the way, that we also face. Because NSFAS, what it does, the way it operates, is that if you apply as IANDA, they will respond to you fairly quickly these days to tell you whether you qualify or not. But before you get that money, you will have to be admitted at a college or at a university. Then NSFAS will have to get information from the universities or colleges to say, Ayanda is registered at University of Johannesburg or at Citibank TVET College and is doing these programs, then NSFAS will pay. Sometimes there are problems and challenges on that scope, which we are actually working. And I want to say this, that the reason why I'm saying I'm confident and that we need this investigation to identify these problems is that NSFAS also has been improving in another area that has been a problem. That it's now actually experimenting or piloting with direct payment of allowances to students through what is known as a student NSFAS MasterCard. Because doing it through institutions sometimes, we've been getting lots of reports that some students, their monies get taken without their knowledge. So we are trying to strengthen what we call a student-centered model. Of course, also with the hope and the call that I need to make, Ayanda, through your platform, that when we give these allowances in cash, some of them to students, please use them for studies. Don't use them for anything else. So NSFAS is working very hard to improve its system. It's lots of students.
Yeah.
You know, it's 750,000, more or less, that we're actually dealing with. And more than half of university students in South Africa today, close to 60% now, from the statistics I got yesterday, are actually funded by NSFAS.
Sure. As we speak about improvement, you know, it was when? 2016, 2015, if memory serves, when those protests took part in several higher universities in the country, or university campuses, I should say. A big part of what was being raised by the student activists at the time was around the missing middle and ways through which they fall through the cracks. It's a conversation you've had on many platforms. Given, I guess, with the benefit of hindsight, do you reckon we've responded to that correctly and we're now in a position to be able to address especially that issue?
Well, yes, we are in a position now to address that issue, and I'm glad you're asking that. We were just in Cabinet some 2 weeks ago with our report, initial report, on a comprehensive student funding model, which obviously includes NSFAS, which is the primary policy of government to support, students from working class and poor families. But also now we are looking at methods of addressing the issue of the missing middle on a permanent basis. And we have been asked by Cabinet now, after presenting this report, to say that the students, the vice-chancellors, the principals of colleges, the workers, and other interested stakeholders, for instance, like your religious communities and broader communities who have got an interest in this. There are already proposals in that on how to address the issues of the missing middle. But in the meantime, as you know, we've tried our best. Universities have been registering many students from missing middle, provided they sign a loan that when they are working, they will actually pay back. And there are also lots of bursaries. By the way, the SETAs last year paid close on to R1 billion in bursaries to assist those missing middle students who are doing well or who have done well in matric to actually get bursaries to be able to continue. So government has not left that, but what we must not miss sight of, Ayanda, that I must emphasize, government policy at the moment is saying we are supporting the children of the working class and the poor who come from families who are earning not more than 350,000 rands per annum, or 600,000 rands if they've got a student with disability.
Yeah.
That is the primary focus of government policy, which is what everybody must be clear about. But then we are saying, as government, we will then work to assist for missing middle students to get ways and means such that they don't get disadvantaged if they are doing well, just because they don't qualify for NSFAS, because many of them, they come from families who do not qualify for NSFAS, but those families are not rich enough to be able to afford, for example, university education. So we are in the process of consultation now that will be starting.
Sure. Minister, with the moments we have left, I mean, it'd be remiss of me to not ask you to wear your hat as the former General Secretary of the SACP, given what's happened this week, I'm sure you might have kept up with developments around what's happened in Midrand. Gwede Mantashe not being allowed to speak by COSATU. The SACP saying they might very well contest the elections in 2024. Is this the beginning of the end for the Tripartite Alliance as far as you're concerned?
Look, let me just say this. I'm not the official spokesperson of the SACP anymore, but as a leader of the SACP, I want to say that we understood the anger of the workers, when they actually demonstrated, protested against the national chairperson of the ANC. It's unfortunate that things have actually had to take this turn. I think that for the SACP, the challenge is for the alliance to get its act together. We are convinced as the SACP that after what happened this week, the ground has really shifted. And it poses a challenge to all of us as the allies to say, let's rebuild confidence in each other as this alliance. Let's address issues that are of concern to the alliance as a whole or to components of the alliance. The workers' issues that they were actually raising are very legitimate. So let's use this as an opportunity to actually address these problems. And it sends a message basically to all of us as the leaders of the alliance that unless we address some of those problems, indeed, the alliance may be in danger. Although as the SACP, we still feel our alliance is absolutely necessary, and we still believe that if it is able to correct these problems, we can be able to move together. It's a testing moment for the alliance now.
Yeah.
The challenge is, will the alliance rise to the occasion to address this? If, of course, the alliance fails to address this, it may as well be the beginning of the end of the alliance.
I guess with that in mind, you speak about the ground shifting. This call for the SACP to contest the elections in 2024, is that a call you would support?
Well, we took a resolution at our Congress, as our General Secretary explained yesterday, to say that let's go and engage and consult with the alliance to say, we want a reconfigured alliance. In other words, an alliance that is functioning differently, which is functioning in line with the challenges of the moment. That is what our Congress said, and then gave us 6 months between July and December to say, go and engage the allies to be able then to say, these are the issues that we would like challenged. These are the matters that we would like to be addressed. And with discussions, then it will actually tell whether, in fact, there is a possibility to reconfigure the alliance or not. And then we will actually take a decision after that. Of course, the one complication I under at the moment is that the ANC at the moment is preoccupied largely with its conference in December. And unfortunately, it's more inward-looking than paying adequate attention to the alliance. But we hope that that conference will actually help the ANC to be able to realize that there are many challenges on its shoulders and the alliance it leads to actually address the many issues that are on the table, including this important issue for us, reconfiguring the alliance so that we are able to act and prioritize the challenges facing the overwhelming majority of our people, rather than be organizations that are inwardly focused and inward looking, and also to treat each other in a manner that is inclusive, that will actually give confidence to the South African people that this alliance is capable of addressing their needs.
Loud and clear, Minister, but very briefly, my question is still largely unanswered. This call to have the SACP contest the election as part of this reconfigured alliance, is that a call you support?
We have not taken a decision to contest the election separate from the alliance as of now, Ayanda. That is the point that we are saying. As our General Secretary said yesterday, we have not ruled out contesting the elections separate from the alliance, but that's not our first choice. Our first choice is to work as the alliance, because we need to be uniting ourselves. Even more so for us, Ayanda, the SACP is very conscious of the fact that as the ANC is losing votes, it will need our alliance even more. And for us, it's not in our interest, actually, for this alliance to lose power in 2024, because that would be a disaster for the country, we believe. It will be a disaster for the majority of our people. It will be a huge setback. It will actually mean losing all the gains that we've actually made. So we have not made that decision. We have been given 6 months to consult on reconfiguring the alliance. If the alliance is reconfigured to our satisfaction, then all well and good, we will actually contest together. But there is nothing which says if things do not go that way, the ANC won't consider contesting separately from the alliance. But we will never contest on our own, because the SACP's own resolutions are saying we will have to mobilize a whole range of other forces in society that broadly shares our own vision and the kind of South Africa that we want to build, which will be the trade union movement, mass organizations, NGOs, and so on.
All right, interesting times. Minister, thanks for your time and indulgence. Really do appreciate it. Blade Nzimande speaking to us there in his capacity as the Higher Education Minister. Minister of Higher Learning. Yes, Higher Education, Science and Innovation, I beg your pardon, as well as the former General Secretary of the SACP. Once again, thanks very much indeed.